What's going on, everybody? My name is C4. Welcome back to the channel, and today we're here for a new Madden 24 realistic rebuild with the Atlanta Falcons, a team that just dismissed their head coach in Arthur Smith, who's going to go back to work at FedEx. So I decided to succeed him with great Atlanta Falcon Algie Crumpler, because I actually have no idea who the Atlanta Falcons are going to end up bringing in to be their new head coach. But this is a roster that is like a piece or two away from being really damn good. I think when you take a look at the offense, right? You look at the offense, Bergeron, Canadian, Dahlman, Lindstrom. That is an interior that you could grow with. Outside at tackle, probably need to get a little bit younger. We got Kyle Pitts, 86 X Factor. Now, once we get into the offseason and finish out this year zero, I am prepared for him to lose that X Factor, get knocked down to superstar, which, let's be honest, if you look at the scope of like Madden 25 next year, Kyle Pitts is probably going to be a superstar. Hell, they might even nerf him down to a star. I am a Kyle Pitts stan. He was one of the best players I've ever seen play for my favorite college, the best college in all of college football. And even I still think keeping him at an X Factor is a little rich from a rating standpoint, but I'll say if there's somehow we get a great role and he does not lose his X Factor, that is absolutely going to be a player that we get. I mean, it's really one of those deals where it's, do you just bite the bullet and move him to wide receiver? Like, is he ever really going to have the production at tight end, at least in the sim, to justify keeping a playmaker of his capabilities at that spot? Because he's an 86 right now, but if you move him to wide receiver, what, he's 84? He is pretty much a wide receiver anyways. So that will be something that we will consider. The actual wide receiver room for the Atlanta Falcons, outside of Drake London, is not the best. I think that's kind of the biggest first issue. One, we got to get younger at tackle. Those tackles, Jake Matthews, Caleb McGarry, they're not going to be here year 3, 4, and 5 of the rebuild. So we got to start thinking about that. But I think in terms of immediate upgrade, wide receiver is a gigantic need. Matt Collins, Van Jefferson. I really think everybody not named Drake London is set to be a free agent this offseason. So again, that adds more fuel to the fire of, do we just move Kyle Pitts to wide receiver? Because then we have him and Drake London, and then we could just go with whoever at tight end, because a tight end is just going to get plug and play 5, 6, 700 yards at best, and move Kyle Pitts to wide receiver where he has a chance to get that. I don't know. We will figure that out as the roster shapes itself up. We have Bijan Robinson in the backfield, who was horrendously misunderused by Arthur Smith. I had him in one of my fantasy leagues, and I thought it was a home run. I thought this guy here is going to absolutely dominate. And he looked good, and then there's just some weeks they just never gave him the football. So unless there was like masking injuries and stuff like that, I get it. All right, a little bit of a weird pick. I think in hindsight, if I'm a Falcon fan, I'd probably just say, hey, Algier is solid. That is a cheap, affordable rookie contract running back that can clearly get 1,000 yards, that can clearly operate within the offense. Bijan Robinson was a luxury pick, and maybe going somewhere like Jalen Carter would have been better for this team at big picture, but you made the pick of Bijan Robinson. You just got to commit to him. It's like malpractice having him get anything less than 15 carries a game. And that happened, I felt like, more often than not. He was getting underutilized. And I'll tell you what, we're not going to do that in this rebuild. We are going to run him into the absolute ground. And lastly, we have the quarterback spot, where clearly the Atlanta Falcons are looking for a new quarterback. And if you clicked on this video, you know what my plan is for the quarterback spot. I'm not going to spoil it, but you're going to find out probably in 2 minutes what I'm planning on doing. But I mean, hopefully I get some value here for Desmond Ridder, 72 with a star dev. He is still only 24 years old. So that looks like I could probably get, a 4th round pick for Desmond Ridder, maybe a 3rd. I will be greedy because I am going to have to trade some pick. I'm getting Justin Fields. Justin Fields is going to be on the trade block from the Chicago Bears. Atlanta, I'm pretty, like, was he Georgia all the way? Like, coming out of high school? I remember he was on that Netflix series. That was actually pretty badass, and I thought he actually looked pretty cool in that. I think he was there with Sam Hartman, who's actually still in college, which is kind of crazy, unless I'm getting the seasons mixed up. But I think that is a great landing spot. I think Justin Fields restarting his career with a new head coach with Algie Crumpler, who can rewire him a little bit. I think that's with the skill position players that they have here. As long as we kind of figure out the rest of the wide receiver room, how to maximize Kyle Pitts, Justin Fields in this system, pretty cool. Him and Bijan on the same backfield is going to be absolutely dangerous. Plus, let's be honest, the Atlanta Falcons have a pretty good sim playbook, so I'm optimistic it is going to work out. Now, take a look at the defense. This is definitely not as upsidey as the offense. Look at the front three. We get Calais Campbell, Onyemata, and Grady Jarrett. All those guys are not going to be here come probably even year 3 of this rebuild. Maybe I'm going to try to run Grady Jarrett into the ground. I think Calais Campbell's probably going to retire this offseason. Animata, more of a role player. So yeah, there's 3 guys that we debatably are going to need to upgrade at some point. The rest of the front 7, Caden Ellis, Nate Landman, would be cool for one of them to get dev traits. We'll try to develop those guys. Same with Arnold Ebiketie, 75 star dev, second-year player to Penn State. Zach Harrison got a dev trait while I was simming through this year 0. And I figured, hey, why not? Screw it, we'll keep it. He's 72, star dev right now. Big-time athlete out of Ohio State. But you look at that front 7, there's question marks in that front 7. If you told me come year 4 of this rebuild, not one of these players was left on this team, and we completely either redrafted, mixed in some free agency, replaced all 7 of these guys, I would say that's believable. In my head, I would love to see maybe Nate Landman, 74, second-year player to Colorado, was a tackle machine at Colorado. I'd love to see him get a dev trait and develop. I think Arnold Ebiketie has some upside to develop. And hey, Zach Harris getting a dev. But if we're going Justin Fields, it's not going to cost us a first-round pick to get Justin Fields. Like, where should we prioritize this first-round pick here for the Atlanta Falcons? I think edge could be a spot, especially like 3-4 edge. So I'm not necessarily saying Ebiketie and or Harrison is going to be enough to deter us from getting an edge upgrade in the draft. But I literally have no idea how the draft is going to fall out for us. We have Richie Grant at safety. I've liked him since he was at UCF. Jesse Bates, one of the best safeties in the NFL. I'd like to think both those guys can develop. You have A.J. Terrell, who's a dog. You got Jeff Okudah. I don't know if he's worth resigning. You got Clark Phillips, who's awesome. And I've watched like 1 or 2 Falcon games down the stretch, and Clark Phillips looks like an absolute baller, which he was in Utah. Now, didn't test the best, not prototypical size, but he was a dog. He was always a dog, and he looks like, you know, if everything kind of works out in this rebuild, Clark Phillips is not only going to get a dev trait, he's going to be our long-term slot corner for this rebuild. We got to get someone else on the outside. Maybe Okudah, maybe not. We do have to make a decision on Jeff Okudah if we're going to re-sign him or not. I mean, he's still at that spot from a Madden standpoint. 24, 78. Probably not going to cost an arm and a leg. Probably worth at least, like, even if you give him a 2-3 year deal and he doesn't develop, that contract is not going to weigh heavy on our salary cap that we can't go out and sign a corner in free agency. We can't go out and prioritize drafting a corner first, second round in a future draft. So, you know, I think we're in for a good rebuild. So we got to wait until the offseason, maybe make a trade, but it's pretty much a gentleman's agreement at this point that Justin Fields is going to become a member of the Atlanta Falcons. Well, before we go any further and close out this year 0 and get into the offseason, I need to give a quick shout out to today's video sponsor. The NFL playoffs are here, and I'm teaming up with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official partner of the NFL, who is kicking things off with a huge offer. Throughout the playoffs, all new customers will get $200 in bonus bets instantly when they place their first $5 wager on anything. Get in on the action this weekend by downloading the DraftKings app, and don't forget to use my promo code C4. Wondering what you can use your $200 in bonus bets on? Combine multiple bets together from the same game for a shot at an even bigger payout. If you've already signed up for DraftKings, you can get a no-sweat bet. Get a bonus bet back if your same-game parlay or same-game parlay X bet doesn't hit, with max reward limits applying. If sports betting is not available in your state or province, don't worry. You can still join in on all the action with DraftKings Daily Fantasy and have a shot at winning cash prizes. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. New customers use my promo code C4 and bet just $5 on any wager and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. That's promo code C4 only at DraftKings Sportsbook. All right, we are back, and let's start here. There's a reason why I didn't go right to the offseason. I want at least week 18 to have a window to negotiate with some of these players. And Jeff Okudah, like, that is reasonable. 5 years is a little long, but I mean, where's he going to be at the end of those 5 years? Probably 82, 83. And if we can have that for a guy that's getting like under $7 million cap hit, that's at worst he's corner 4, and at worst he's barely playing, but when he plays, he's solid. We have Nate Landman at linebacker. I think another guy, lock him in for the remainder of the rebuild. Same kind of deal. The contract itself is reasonable, so that when it comes time, that if there's someone that's upgradable, sure, he can still be there as depth, and that is exactly what we're going to utilize him for. Everyone else, I'm not seeing You know, Street, Calais Campbell, Bud Dupree, all those guys, all those veterans. It's probably end of an era. We'll pick up the 50 roster for Kyle Pitts, and that will be our in-house signings. But I'm going to look at these stats here for the end of year 0 for the Atlanta Falcons. Desmond Ridder, 3,200 yards, 18 touchdowns, and 15 picks. I love Cincinnati, led by Desmond Ridder. That story of the underdog team making the college football playoff was awesome. But I was never really a believer in Desmond Ridder. Saw a couple things. I was like, he's not going to be good. And that's pretty much what is translated to the NFL. I think he's like definitely... I think there's still enough talent with Desmond Ridder that like someone might want to salvage and say like, hey, you know, you give him one of those guys where he gets signed up to the Heat and gets a shot to battle for a starting position somewhere in the NFL. But I just think he is what he is at this point. He's like, you know, to put it to, he's Marcus Mariota when he was in Atlanta. I feel like that's just what he is. He just never left to go to Philadelphia. Desmond Ridder is Marcus Mariota. And I hope we can get some value for him this offseason. Bijan Robinson's rookie year goes over 1,000 yards, 3 tuds. I was year there, 1-2 punch. On the receiving standpoint, no 1,000-yard receiver. Got 873 yards on 70 catches, 6 tuds for Drake London, 7-7 for Jonnu, 650 and 2 from Kyle Pitts. Again, just another reason why Arthur Smith got fired. Like they just found more. It felt like they felt more creative ways to get Jonnu Smith touches than Kyle Pitts. Incredibly frustrating team to watch. On the defensive side, Nate Ladman went over 100 tackles. Same with Ellis. Same with Jesse Bates. Lehman also had 12 TFLs. We got 5.5 sacks on 7 TFLs for Ebiketie. Fine. No one else really had big-time numbers. Zach Harrison, 10 TFLs, 3 sacks. We got 3 picks for Jesse Bates. I think he's more than that, IRL. The part that we had to sim from week 10, because that's the latest starting point for some reason. Thanks, Madden. But, Jesse Bates, absolute dog. One of the best safeties in the NFL. Quickly looking at the yearly awards, Josh Allen got himself the MVP. CMC, Fred Warner, Jordan Addison, Bijan just outside. I mean, that's fair for how much he was underutilized, I think. Top 5 for Offensive Rookie of the Year. For Mr. Bijan Robinson, Zach Harrison, just outside the top 5 for Defensive Rookie of the Year. I don't think we're going to have any award winners here in Atlanta. We do not. Younghoe Koo, runner-up for kicker. That's probably the closest that we got. But now it is time to get into our first offseason. Dallas defeats the Baltimore Ravens in the Super Bowl. Gross. As far as our depth traits are concerned, we did not lose the X factor on Kyle Pitts, which is ridiculously lucky, I think it's fair to say. Bijan got unveiled as a superstar, which that's what he was. Was he an X factor? I don't think he would have lost a dev there. And on the defensive side, no dev traits up or down. Cool. All right, our first piece of business in the offseason is I'm bringing in a new defensive coordinator and defensive coordinator scheme. We're going to do this as organically as we possibly can in a franchise mode. I'm going to look who's available, and that is going to become our new playbook. I am not staying with this Falcons 3-4 defense where I just watch the edge rushers every year get like 4 or 5 sacks as my bet. I don't want to just accept that. So I'd rather be proactive because this is now my Atlanta Falcons. So we have Sammy Rios, who would come with the Buffalo Bills defensive playbook. He's DB guru in full blitz. Okay. We have Joe Evans, who would bring the Kansas City Chiefs playbook. We all know everything about the Chiefs sim offense. I don't know much about their sim defense. And I would say we know Buffalo's defense more so from playing, right? Because that is the defense that we're utilizing right now in our Arizona Cardinals franchise. I'm trying to think sim defense. Who puts up big numbers? I'm not going to lie. Honestly, I might just have to... And we got Cincinnati. So Cincinnati, Kansas City, and Buffalo. I am going to literally go look right now at the stat... I mean, fuck. There's real stats right now. I was going to say, if this was a full sim year, I would literally go with who had the best... I mean, there's still almost half a season here. Buffalo defense. Did you have a lot of picks and sacks? The answer to that is... Not really. Kansas City, picks and sacks. Okay, 4 picks. Sacks, not brutal. A little bit better. What about the Bengals? Sacks, okay, pretty good. Picks. I'm going to go, let's go Cincy. We're going to hire Cincinnati defensive coordinator. Go with the Cincinnati defensive playbook. Shuffle around the defense. Make the move. I think that's winning football. I already know there's someone out there going C4. No. Kansas City, that's over. That's super overpowered. That's where you want to be. Whatever. Let's do this. All right, first piece of business before we even handle a trade is we need to trim the fat on our roster. And that starts, unfortunately, with Mr. Heineke. That's $5 million. We need that. It is kind of funny. We literally have one wide receiver on the roster right now in Drake London. So, I mean, if you're ever going to experiment with Kyle Pitts, I mean, Jonnu Smith's not bad. Jonnu Smith's 77 with the start ev. If you're looking at that, like generally the landscape of this roster, I think you could survive with Jonnu Smith 76 start ev at tight end. Kyle Pitts, oh that's a hit. That is a hit. Do we bite the bullet? I think we do. I think we do. I think we commit to this. So we're going to make our trade here with the Chicago Bears, and I think it's probably going to, like, draft pick compensation. You're not getting a first for Justin Fields, but I got him a second and a fourth this year, and I think IRL, the best case for Atlanta is you get a second that could be a conditional that can turn into a first if Justin Fields plays, I wouldn't even say you'd make it one of those ones where he plays 16 games or 17 games or whatever, but if you made it like Justin Fields makes the Pro Bowl, or Justin Fields does ABC, it could turn into a first. That's probably what you're going to get. They didn't accept a 2 and a 4. It was very close. So I said, you know what? It's surplus for us at this point. I'd say value-wise, Desmond Ritter's probably a third, fourth round pick, somewhere in that range. 72 star dev. So from the logic of the Chicago Bears, Ritter gives you someone with some experience in the league. If they go out and get Caleb Williams, maybe help him learn the ropes just a little bit. But Justin Fields is now the new, hopefully, franchise quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons. Now, for our first free agent spot, not going to go crazy because I have more so no idea what I'm going to want to do in the draft. So we're going to first throw a little money, like reasonable offers at both these players. One's Willie Gay at linebacker because we are switching from a 3-4 to a 4-3. And as much as Troy Anderson is fun in Madden, he is currently a starter for us at linebacker. Is like a 66. Willie Gay, give him a 3-year deal, keep him for 26 to 29. So for the rest of his prime, he's a 78. Maybe get a shot to as a normal dev. He's going to be a big-time tackle for us. To go up a dev trait, but that's just good cover. And then I got Darnell Mooney, throw a little bit of money there, 26.79 with a dev trait, familiar with Justin Fields, and would give us our 3 starting wide receivers, Mooney, Kyle Pitts, and Drake London. Not the end of the world if we don't get these guys, but it'd be pretty cool if we did. So Mooney get another offer in there from the Titans. So we'll come back, re-up just a little bit. We'll compete. We'll fight for that signature. Wow. And I guess he didn't really like Justin Fields that much. It was a quiet first offseason here in year 0, but there we go. There's the bell of the ball right there. Justin Fields playing in a contract year, ready to ball out. All right, here we go with pick 11 in the first round of the 2024 NFL Draft. Your Atlanta Falcons need a lot. I think you could make the argument wide receiver's a big need. Tackle, offensive tackle. Ooh, Malik Neighbors still on the board. Okay, that's pretty good. Malik Neighbors, Roma Dunze, both these guys ballers. Neighbors offer something a little bit different than what we have. He's your burner guy, downfield deep threat versus someone like Odunze, who's also a downfield, but I mean, unless Bengal juiced him up, I mean, he is also very fast. It's an interesting one. If we don't go Odunze, we still got left tackle. Not much. Board kind of fell apart there at left tackle, at right tackle. J.C. Latham and Fuaga both could be nice picks. Defensively, Latu still on the board. Tui Maliau. Jared Verse. Braylon Trice. Dang. Chop Robinson's a beast. Dogs at corner. Damn. It's tough. Board fell somewhat decently for us, to be honest with you. I think I'm going to go with the better. Who's the better athlete between Verse and Latu? It's going to be Verse. A power, B finesse, B block shed. We got second in the 40, first 3 cone, first 20 at his pro day. Great speed, elite change of direction, great acceleration, great agility. versus someone like Latu, who has very nice, rare A finesse, A power move, 6'5", 265. And he's coming with elite speed, elite acceleration. Goddamn. Oh, I don't know which one's the right one to make here. I think you gotta go Latu just because he has the double A. Finesse and power. That is rare traits to have. Let's go. There is, we go pass rush. And the reason why I did that is because in my brain, if it's wide, Doomsday would be awesome, right? But ideally, in a perfect world, Kyle Pitts makes a transition to wide receiver. He's our wide receiver 2 and or 1 eventually with that X factor. Drake London, wide receiver 1 or 2. So whoever we would have drafted in the first round wide receiver, if everything works out, will be our 3rd wide receiver. Is that really that valuable versus making this change to a 4-3? I don't know if Zach Harrison is going to put up big-time numbers. I don't know if Arnold Ebiketie is going to put up big-time numbers. So we bring in a proven, high-upside pass rusher. I think we made the right call. And we unfortunately don't pick until the 3rd round, where we do have 2 selections. So maybe we'll be able to grab that 3rd wide receiver right here. Oh, yeah, there's going to be some value. Gonna be some value. What do we got? Roman Wilson, A catching B, or A catching traffic, Tez Walker, Johnny Wilson, Xavier Worthy, Jalen Polk, Xavier Legette. What do you got for Jalen Polk? A deep running, B release. Athletically speaking, kind of butt cheeks. Legette. 6'3", 227. Runs a 4.3. Yep. Go with this one. Oh, dev trait, don't care. You're going to be our 3rd guy. What a beast. 6'3", 230. 94 speed. Yeah. And you know what? On the topic of wide receiver tight ends, what did Bengal make this guy? What did Bengal make Johnny Wilson look like? That's what I want to know. Like, can I cheese a system to move him to tight end? Well, we'll find out. So take a look at our draft recap. And Latu, 77 hit dev edge rusher at pick 11. That's exactly what we're looking for. Legit, 74 normal for a 3rd option. I'm happy with that. Johnny Wilson now, 71. Some of these players, obviously, I'm going to have to go in and edit their profiles a little bit because they get messed up in the draft class here. But 71, just out of curiosity. I mean, between him and Kyle Pitts, could flex either one back and forth to tight end. But he's 71 wide receiver. What is Johnny Wilson if you make him a tight end? It's a 70. I think we stay with that. I think we can. Well, I say that, but then also Johnny Wilson would be our wide receiver 4. I think it's good to know, maybe, that's where he's at. I think we'll move him back to wideout. All right, so we're now here in year 1 of our 5-year Madden 24 realistic rebuild of the Atlanta Falcons, and it's a new look Falcons squad. As you can see, changes to the squad. We have Justin Fields under center at quarterback. I took Kyle Pitts from tight end. I'm going to put him at slot wide receiver just because I think slot wide receiver is going to be what eats during the sim process here. And we want Kyle Pitts. He just needs to be our top target. No disrespect to Drake London, but Kyle Pitts is Kyle freaking Pitts. So whatever way that I can manipulate to get him the most targets, the most production, be the focal point of this passing game, we're going to do so. I think that's going to be in the slot position. But everyone else in the offense ready to go. Year 1. Ready to buy it. On the defense, now we changed from a 3-4 to a 4-3, and how that is necessarily lined up. We have Ellis, Landman, and Willie Gay at linebacker. Safeties and secondary remains the same. We're going to have Clark Phillips as our starting slot. We have Ebiketie, Grady Jarrett, Onyemata, and our first-round pick, Latu. How do I pronounce the first name? As a Canadian, Liatu. Latu. I would just say 15. 15 on UCLA, has ridiculous production. He has had probably the best pass rushing numbers in all of college football over the last 2 seasons, and we need him to do the exact same for us here today. Especially, he's honestly going to be the face of this switch to from a 3-4 to a 4-3. So I'd love to see him get double-digit sacks on his first season. And Grady Jarrett back to his more natural defensive tackle position where he was a beast early in his career for the Atlanta Falcons. So all in all, I know this is a good playbook. I know this should be a rebuild where we find success sooner rather than later. And I hope that is the case and Justin Fields plays like an MVP candidate. That'd be pretty badass. So without further ado, let's get into year 1 of this rebuild. Got a little bit of update here. We're going to week 3, 1-1. Never good when you lose to the Panthers. But we have a breakout linebacker. I'm going to guess it's for Nate Landman. It is for Nate Landman, our middle linebacker. That is on a normal dev. And at 25 years old, it's not necessarily now or never, but probably like the last good year for him to get up a dev trait, get up to star, help speed up that XP just a little bit. So he needs to have a good showing. And or the defense as a whole needs to have a good showing here. Week 3 against the Chargers as we fall 28-20. But do we at least get a... Come on. Fuck. All right, so you're over here in the bye and underperforming, 3-5. But look at the offense. Feel pretty good. Look at the defense. Lower. We botched it by going with Cincinnati. But you know what? I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. When you make that switch from a scheme, especially from as big of a 3-4 to a 4-3, or vice versa, you're going to have growing pains. I'm going to toss up to growing pains. And I won't look at, pulling the trigger too quickly on just quick, firing this guy and get something better than Cincinnati. I'll give it at least 2 years. But the offense, yes. Justin Fields, Kyle Pitts, yes. That looks great. With $42 million, though, week 10, we got to figure out some contracts. I know we got Justin Fields. I know we got A.J. Terrell, Richie Grant. Okay, there's lots of money that needs to get spent here. So we will pick up the 5th-year option, Drake London, in the offseason. All right, we'll start Drew Dahlman at center. Let's get him locked in. Remainder of this rebuild. 4 years. Let's go. Solid. Justin Fields. I will say this. That is a lot of money for a 78 quarterback. No other way around it. That's a lot of money. But we're just going to give him a somewhat fair deal. Ooh. It's getting tight. Oh, it's getting tight. Can't pay Richie Grant. Unless we get an influx, which sometimes you do. Sometimes you get a random one where you have $3 million. And then come first week of the offseason, we have $30 million. But unless that's the case, probably going to have to say goodbye to the UCFDB Richie Grant here. All right, I will say, beating Dallas, tough to do in the sim. We are on top of the NFC South. It's ugly. It is butt-ass ugly. 5-6. But we will take it. And we got a breakout. I'm going to assume it's for Drake London. Could be legit in the... Could be. It's Drake London. So he's looking to make that jump from star to superstar. I've seen this hit probably about 1 in 20 times, which is better than 0 in 20 times. So let's see here against the Raiders, 7-5. We get the 35 points. We have a shot here. Come on, don't make me go 0-2 for dev traits. Okay. We got one of our best wins all year, 45-8, a utter domination over the Commanders, week 14, and we're finally starting to see that $150 million investment in Justin Fields come to fruition. 300 yards, 5 tuds. More of this, please. End of the year 1. Not a bad start. 1 for 1. We win the NFC South. Not overly impressive. 9-8. But offensively, I feel pretty damn good. Number 1 rushing offense, which is everything you could only imagine with Bijan Robinson and Justin Fields in the same backfield. Top 10 passing offense. We're utilizing Justin Fields as a thrower. Top 5 overall offense. Defense, tighten the ship up a little bit. It looks like we're going to have bottom 3 across everything. But rushing defense overall, points allowed, work in progress. Not bad for a transitionary year on the schematic front. Take a look at the numbers, though. Bijan Robinson was the second leader rusher. Look at these numbers from Justin Fields. 4,000 yards passing, 35 touchdowns, 13 picks. He also chipped in with 400 yards, another 7 rushing touchdowns. So that's awesome that the base Falcon scheme can facilitate a rushing quarterback and give us some reasonable scrambling numbers. I mean, just look at that. Algier got after it, 16, almost 1,700 yards and 11 touchdowns for Bijan Robinson. We had 2,000-yard receivers, 1 in Kyle Pitts, thriving at wideout now, 84 catches, 1,300 yards. We'll round that up, 12 tuds. We got 12-7 for Drake London, 6-8 for Jonnu Smith, 5-3 for Legette. Decent numbers as well, considering these top 2 numbers for Bijan, 3-4. So he goes just shy of 2,000 yards from scrimmage, 15 touchdowns. He is ridiculous and absolutely going to be in the MVP race. Defensively, Landman and Gay with big-time tackles. The sacks, work in progress. 21. I mean, still, that's not a bad year at all. TFLs are valuable. 55 tackles, 21 TFL, 7 sacks for a rookie. That's like A tier. It's not S tier, but it's A tier. 19-6 for Grady Jarrett, 17-3 for Onyemata. A little bit disappointing on the other side. And Ebiketie, 4 picks. A.J. Terrell. Would have loved to see a little bit more in terms of Jesse Bates production just to maintain his X factor. Probably going to lose it this offseason. Yearly awards, Lamar Jackson wins the MVP. Justin Fields at number 8. I feel like Bijan should have been up there. Offensive player of the year. What? Bijan at 4? Huh. I don't know about that. Offensive rookie of the year goes to Marvin Harrison Jr. Defensive rookie of the year goes to Jack Sawyer. Latu coming in at number 3. I don't agree with that. Top 5, Justin Fields. Bijan is running back of the year, which should bode well for him getting his X Factor. He's on Superstar. Don't think we're going to have any other award winners. Maybe kicker? No. All right, well, we made the playoffs. Year 1 of the Justin Fields era went about, I mean, I don't think I could have expected much better, knowing that it still was going to be a pretty good sim offense. 9-8, we battled the birds here. Wild card round. Hopefully there's no jumping knee passes. Holy shit, we beat Philly 31-8. Wasn't even close. Justin Fields, 250 yards, 3 touchdowns. As we get the first win in year 1 of the Justin Fields era. Going into now the divisional round against the 14-3 49ers. We're going to spend our point here on Clark Phillips, who is a player we're absolutely going to commit with to developing on the defensive side of the ball. Would be nice if we can get him up to a star dev sooner than later. But very tough matchup. But you beat Philly, you feel like you can beat anybody. You feel like you can beat San Francisco. You feel like you can beat Dallas. You feel like you beat Kansas City. Look at the Niners. They have a top 10 offense, number 8 defense. So just really good team. This is going to be very tough. They're an 89 overall. They're a little bit ahead of schedule. And we beat the Niners. 21-16. Back-to-back 3 touchdowns on the day. 2 through the air, 1 on the ground for Justin Fields. As we are in year 1 in the NFC Championship game against the Dallas Cowboys. And if we beat Dallas 13-4, we got a cheat code on our hands because it's close to 34. We lost by a field goal to the Dallas Cowboys, who are the reigning defending Super Bowl champion. The fact that we did this all in year 1, it bodes well. 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. Justin Fields, maybe that pick is what cost us. Ran the ball very well, 138 yards. Couldn't stop Michael Gallup and the tight end. Those are slot, linebacker coverage issues. Defensively, I mean, we got sacks, 3 sacks. No pressure for Dallas. They get the pick to Ron Bland there. This is only year 1. I feel we're going to get a couple Super Bowls here in this rebuild. The Dallas Cowboys win the Super Bowl, which is not impressive whatsoever. Madden 24, that's easy mode. If they're not winning the Super Bowl every year, right? That's the only way that it actually is impressive. But we do get a superstar dev on Justin Fields, which is great because I'm going to be honest with you. We had to pay him $150 million when he was like a 78 star dev quarterback or whatever it was. I was like, that's a little expensive. I thought we might get a little bit of a discount. But now that he's a superstar, obviously with the boost and stuff looks good, but he's an 80 superstar. I mean, hey, we're definitely going in the right direction. Bijan makes a jump from superstar up to an X Factor, which is great. As far as the rest of the depth traits, Kyle Pitts maintains his X Factor, but he had a ridiculous season. So that passes the vibe test. On the defensive side, Latu goes. She's got superstar here, which is nice. AJ Terrell. We lost the X Factor on Bates, which is kind of expected. Nate Landman does get that star dev, which is really, really nice. So we are going to go in the offseason. Richie Grant's contract still up in the air. Would love to see a little influx of salary cap, but love the way this team is shaping up going into year 2. All right, we actually did get the influx I was hoping for. We got 30 mil. So let's see if Richie Grant wants to take this deal 3 years. Forget about it. Love it. For free agency, not much. I mean, if we need a quarterback, Tua, that's a nice roll. Hit the open market, but for the most part, a lot of guys on the wrong side of 30. And generally, our team doesn't have a whole lot of holes. I would like maybe there was like a stud linebacker that wasn't classified as an edge rusher. I would love to bring JOK, and I'm not paying him $17 million a year. So we're just going to roll over our salary cap to next season. Now, I'm not going to call our success in year 1 a bummer, but I was expecting, because we have our first 2 draft classes of realistic prospects, I was expecting we'd have a nice pick in 2025 to get like a big-time, big-name player. But the reality is we went on a run, so we're picking at 29. So we're kind of going to have to sort through the junk that's remaining and make the best decision for our team. So my needs, I would say tight end would be a big one. Holden Stays, Notre Dame. I believe he's in the transfer portal right now. Pretty good athlete. We have Jack Velling, who was Pac-12 tight end of the year. A run block, B catching, A catch in traffic. Pretty good athlete as well. Not in love, though, with any of these tight ends. I should have done more. Of course, I scouted the 2 tight ends that already went out the board. Loveland out of Michigan was one. We could use a tackle. And Darius Washington of Florida State is still on the board. 3 Bs, 6'4", 306. A little bit undersized, but probably pretty decent. The tackle would be a spot. Zane Durant, big time. Mason Graham is a dog for Michigan. Actually, that could be the pick there. Mason Graham. Just coming off a huge performance in the championship game. Caleb Downs is a dog. We just re-signed. Yeah, let's let's go Mason Graham. Damn. This is not updated, Mason Graham. Probably should roll a dev trade. This is my own goddamn draft class. Let's grab a tight end here. Velling still on the board with the double A's. B catching, not bad. All right, we're just not getting any dev traits from my own goddamn draft class. Feels great. All right, here's a look at our draft recap. I did not do a great job with my own draft. We got Mason Graham in the first round, 71 normal dev. Velling, 69 normal. Shamar James, 65 normal. Holker, who actually played really, really good football for Colorado State, 67 normal. They get Darius Taylor out of Minnesota. A little bit of a gadget, true freshman type player, underclassman, 70 with a hidden dev to come in and be the RB3, eventually RB2, because we're not going to pay Algier. But, man, oh man, what a bummer of a draft class. The midway point of year 2, 5-3, sitting atop the South. Maybe I'd like to see a little bit, but look, the defense is getting a little bit better. The offense still playing at a high level. And I think we're probably better than our record shows, and 5-3 is nothing to, stick your nose up at. That's a good pace, especially if we keep maintaining that down the stretch. Now we have $63 million available money. Kyle Pitts has thrived moving to wide receiver, so we're absolutely going to lock him up for the foreseeable future. Algier, that's actually not a lot of money, but you could probably just put almost anybody else at that spot at RB2. Haven't thrived. We just drafted a hidden dev and Darius Taylor out of Minnesota, so we'll likely just go with that to save some money. We'll actually honestly shuffle some money around to keep some vets like Grady Jarrett, to keep Arnold Ebiketie for his development, to keep Caleb McGarry on a 1 year. Hey, here we go. Who are we actually losing? We're going to be losing Caden Ellis, so we're going to be down a starting linebacker, down a starting D-tackle, down a backup running back. You can replenish those guys in an offseason, so we're looking good going into year 3. It goes out to year 2, 12-5, a second straight NFC South title, which we are very happy with. Seattle up next. Okay. Number 2 offense. Oh my God. Number 2 offense, number 2 defense. I take back that I was even wavering slightly on the Cincinnati Bengals defensive playbook here. Let's take a look at the stats. Do they back it up? Justin Fields, I'm going to say slightly underwhelming, given the fact that we led on offense. I thought we might be dealing with like 35-plus passing touchdowns, maybe 4,000-plus passing yards. But 3,600 yards, 30 touchdowns, 10 picks. He also chipped in 500 yards, 4 rushing tuds. Pretty good. Bijan crushed it. Algier was solid. Kyle Pitts, 1,100 yards, 11 touchdowns. Down year for Drake London. As soon as I saw the passing yards, probably not going to have 2,000-yard receivers. But London, it's a clear wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2 type dynamic, and that is as expected. Defensively, Landman continues to be a tackle machine. We're getting a little bit of sacks here on Yamada, 13 TFLs, 11 sacks. Of course, he's hitting the open market, which kind of sucks. Latu, 10 sacks, 13 TFLs. Grady Jarrett was solid. Pick still. Could be a little better. Could be a little worse. I'll take 3 and 3 for Bates and Terrell. I'd say that's probably about the minimum I would like to see. MVP goes to Lamar Jackson. Justin Fields just making the cutoff. Looks at Falcons. Bijan there for Offensive Player of the Year. Okay. Jack Velling, who was a wet fart of a pick. Top 5 for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Don't think we're going to have any award winners, though, if I had to say. Not. Hey, Younghoe Koo, Kicker of the Year. Love it. So, we got ourselves a playoff run. Last year, went on a nice little Cinderella run. Made it all the way to the NFC Championship game. This year, won the division, ready to run it back. We got to run the gauntlet. Not good enough to get the first round bye. So we start against the Seattle Seahawks, 83 overall, not as talented of a roster, 21st and 23rd offense and defense respectively. This game should not even be close. They're barely above 500. We It was close. 41-35. And our player of the week was Latu. First round pick 2 years ago. 1 sack, forced fumble. Recovered his own fumble. And now we get an opportunity revenge game against San Francisco 49ers. Last year for them. We beat them last year. Oh. Okay. 28-17. We fall. I would still make the argument. Year 2 of this rebuild, we're ahead of schedule. I'm not expecting this team to be a Super Bowl contender just quite yet. I need a couple more drafts. Need a couple more free agent periods. Need to let these young guys develop. But we're there, man. We are so freaking close. So the Super Bowl, the Chicago Bears. Hey, shout out to a new team, the Bears. Justin Fields' old team. Please don't say it was Desiree. So they did go on, get a quarterback in Drake May. But that somehow inadvertently adds pressure on our team because the Bears moved on from Justin Fields. We acquired him. They got on and got a Super Bowl. We are still trying to figure it out. Still trying to get that winning combination for this squad. Taking a look at the roster as far as dev traits are concerned, nothing gained on the offense. Fields still superstar, Robinson X Factor, Pitts X Factor, London star, coming off a little bit of a down year. One thing I am thinking about on the offense, Matt Bergeron, the Canadian, was a tackle in college, so if Jake Matthews retires, I think the plan would be probably to kick Bergeron out to tackle eventually, and then we just have to draft a guard, which is kind of easy to do with Madden generated draft classes for the most part. We lost a star dev on Onyemata. We gained a star dev on Willie Gay. We gained an X Factor on AJ Terrell. Okuda star dev. Still nothing for Phillips, though. He's getting robbed. Let's go to free agency. $20 million. Not a lot. But we need a tight end. And, of course, not much there. I think that's going to be a spot we got to look towards the draft. Even someone like Isaiah Likely. We're going into year 3, 4, and 5. Maybe if we had year earlier and we're force-feeding you the ball, you'd be like 77, 78. Right now, we feel a lot better. We need tackle help, potentially. And or maybe even a lineman, right? You kick Bergeron, get that depth, potentially. But we're not ready to make that move just quite yet. Now, Mekhi Becton, because he has that superstar dev, we're going into year 3. Or if we get him on a 3-year. That could be our free agency signing here. We'll throw some money there. I mean, I did see somebody, you're going to see in a sec, that looked interesting. There's no way. We literally have 20 million. He wants 36 a year, which is ridiculous. Can't afford that. So we're going to be smart with how we spend our money. And I think, really, getting long-term spot and McGarry's get up there and age a little bit. Get ourselves an offensive lineman. Protect Justin Fields. It's good. It's a good start. Now we look towards the draft. Tight end, defensive tackle, a linebacker. Those are probably our top needs. All right, so go to the draft. Got to show you this because we did handle our scouting. It's a top-heavy class for tight ends, which is good. Just need to look at the mock draft. I think all 3 of these tight ends look pretty badass. We got Andrew Slate because obviously we're not going to probably be able to pick the top guy, but 3 A's and a B in the first round. Vertical threat. We got 6'3", 240, elite speed, jumping, agility. He's passed the test. Max Nielsen also looks like he could be pretty goddamn good. Same kind of vibes. Either one of those options would be great. Don't necessarily know if I want to trade up for a tight end, but our offense did take a step back when we lost Jonnu Smith, so that's something to consider. I guess I also apparently focus scout corner. I don't necessarily know why, but we got ourselves our value guy, Eric Dixon, top 5 talent at corner. So that's another reason why you wouldn't trade up. And he's passing the vibe test. Maybe could be 4.2 speed, I suppose. But he looks pretty good. So that's really the most recent mock draft. Where the tight ends going? Who's available to us? Russell Peters, the comedian, is going top 5. What do you got for tight ends? Wow. Max Nielsen's projected to be the first tight end. Stevens there. Slate, who I really like, he's going 23. We picked 27. And look, we got our top 5 true talent corner right there. Even though corner's not a gigantic need, it also, Jeff Okuda's kind of is who he is at this point. And if we can get a big dog back there, I think that, top 5 true talent type player. I feel like getting a top 5 true talent type player is probably better than trading that pickup for a tight end that we don't fully have scouted. I almost feel like when you get those last 3 focus scouts, it should just bring whatever the player is, regardless of their completion percentage of your scouting. It should go up to 100%. Just to make sure the mock draft didn't lie to us. Yeah, all the tight ends are gone. So we are going to grab, I'm not going to say regretfully, but it's obviously not a huge need for our team, but we are going to trust the scouting, and we'll go BPA, which is Eric Dixon at corner out of Bama, hidden dev. Now we need a little bit of linebacker help. Ellis hit the open market, so we have Kevin Knowles, A pursuit, A zone, elite agility, change of direction, and speed, second in the 40, first in the 3-cone, and 20-yard shuttle, and it lied to me. That should be a hidden dev player, and you all know it. I know it. So we're going to take a look at our draft recap as, oh wow, we are negative in salary cap. Obviously, that's when we make our roster cuts, we'll be fine. We got a couple late round guys that follow the draft board. I want to see right now. We're live in reaction. What we got? Normal. What about this corner? 5th rounder. Normal at a USC. All right. I got another 70. We got 73. Eric Dixon, though. 79. Hidden dev. Late 1st round. You'll take that every day of the week. I do want to go peek those tight ends. Just out of curiosity. Just out of curiosity, would we have been worth trading at? Max Nielsen was the first one. 77 normal. He was the one that I actually thought was going to fall to us. So I'd rather take 79 hidden dev than 77 normal. We got Stevens, who was the first tight end. I didn't think he was going to fall. 74 normal. So maybe not a strong tight end class. But this is the one that I was thinking about trading up for. Was Andrew Slate out of Auburn. 75 hidden dev. So he's the best of the bunch. So well, best of the bunch. Not made necessarily by rating, but he does have the dev trait. What is the... So it's a star. Okay. Russell Peters, 80. So what, we got the number 2 player in the draft class? Holy shit, no we didn't. It's 83 card. Wow. That is the highest rated lineman I think I've seen. Maybe I've seen a tackle. That is easily the highest rated interior lineman. 83, so you got your Quentin Nelson type guard prospect. And like a really good value pick there for the Vikings in the 2nd round. But you know what? I'll take my guys as the best pound for pound value pick. Unless this guy's an X factor. Man, Alabama got these 2nd rounders that are bringing immense value in Hutchins. Just to start, all right, I'll take my guy. We got the best value pick of the draft. Alrighty, looking at a team going into year 3. We got the big ticket, Mekhi Becton. Kind of does make Caleb McGarrick's surplus requirement, who we did pick up on a 1. Not the best management of my salary cap, but you know, we'll just let him walk into free agency next year. And Becton is, you know, long-term option. That's going to be pretty good. Definitely lacking a tight end, but it just didn't fall that way in the draft. Kind of is what it is. On the defense, we got our guys here, and wait, there's no way. There's no fucking way. Oh, and of course he got signed by some... Fucking ridiculous. Fucking ridiculous. And I made a very reasonable offer to trade for him back, and I had 6 players I had to remove off my roster. I thought the computer could handle that. This is the one moment. This is that pivotal moment in my life. Going forward in rebuilds here in Madden 24, that you can't let the computer do fucking anything. They traded away the corner that I've been developing, that I've been nurturing to develop into a big time star. They just fucking release him. I'm this close to just restarting this whole video. Midway point, I would say, you remember when we're 5-2, I'm happy with it, but remember when we signed, it was a Broncos rebuild. We signed Jalen Waddle, and we signed, as we just casually get Bijan Robinson to a 99 overall, 99 club. But you remember when we signed Jalen Waddle and Jamar Chase in an offseason, and that should be awesome. But it was too much of a good thing, and it felt like that just dampened and ruined, put a curse, a cloud of smoke over the rebuild. I almost feel like the computer releasing a guy that I've been trying to develop, same kind of vibes. Like, I'm terrified right now. We got year 3 right now that we're in, 4-5 to win a Super Bowl with this very good team. I don't know. I think the computer releasing Clark Phillips, it might be a dagger. Well, let's see what we got here. First off, Jesse Bates, get him on a 4-year deal. We have Drake London, who's also been pretty good. We'll get him hopefully locked up.
Wasn't overly interested in re-signing, which is a little bit of a bummer. We got Matt Bergeron. We'll get him locked in on a 3-year deal. He wants more money. I think, again, could potentially be a left tackle for us. Especially in this, I mean, at this point, we'll probably let Matthews walk, and we will go with him there. Harrison's just depth. Willie Gay's at that price point. Like, probably could just draft a linebacker at that spot. So we'll come back to the table with Bergeron, and still more in the loss of Clark Phillips III. So it's the end of year 3, even more dominant, even though our passing numbers kind of fell off a fucking cliff here. Number 1 defense, 14-3. What happened? Why? Is it still because we're missing a tight end? Rushing numbers, Bijan's going off. Kyle Pitts does still get that 1,000 yards, but might lose his X factor. Wow. Okay, questionable there on the offense. Not loving it. Sacks fell off. Interceptions picked up a little bit. Eric Dixon, our first-round pick. I saw the dev. It is an X factor. So we drafted that. That eases the loss of Clark Phillips III just a little bit, but still, I feel like the vibe, the passing and failing of the vibe test by the CPU, I think that is reflecting of our passing offense this year. That's the only way I'm going to be able to explain it. Plus, it's year 3, which is always for some reason, fucking random and terrible. Lamar wins the MVP. Bijan wins Offensive Player of the Year. Shout out to him. He's been crushing it. Micah Parsons signed with the Packers. Immediate return on investment for them. Eric Dixon does win Defensive Rookie of the Year, but already has an X factor, so there's not a lot that could be gained there. Best running back goes to Bijan. Okay, well, we got to at least kick our feet up. First round bye here this year, year 3. But I am a little concerned about our passing offense. You need your passing offense to show up big time in the playoffs. And we already know what's going to happen. A sub-500 Dallas Cowboy team. You might as well just rip this Band-Aid off. All right, our second NFC Championship game in 3 years. Bijan has had literally 200 yards, 3 touchdowns. He probably should be MVP. Sorry, not sorry, Lamar. And we have in the NFC Championship game, the Commanders, who have Caleb Williams under center, but look at that. Pretty limited passing numbers. They have the number 3 offense. Pretty evenly matched game, honestly. But Atlanta getting their second chance at appearing in a Super Bowl. And we lose by 1 score, which was very similar to last time we were in a championship game. We lost by 1 score. But hey, Justin Fields, congrats on your award. To close out year 3. Oh, the Kansas City. We've had 2 Cowboys Super Bowls and a Chiefs Super Bowl. The Bears. So we had Cowboys, Bears, Chiefs in our first. No, because we had year 0. We've had 2 Cowboys, a Bears, and a Chiefs. Shocking. Let's take a look at our dev traits. Expect we might lose the X factor on Kyle Pitts. We did not. We didn't gain any dev traits on offense. We had the retirement of Jake Matthews, stalwart in the NFL. I'm going to let under the iron. So what I'm going to do at this point is we're going to commit with the Canadian. I just can't have one of my best linemen. I can't have both my best linemen be my guards. So we're going to take Bergeron, who has experience, played actually tackle in college, kicked inside the guard at the next level. He's going to be our new left tackle. So we are going to go in to the draft, to the offseason. We don't have a lot of money, so it's going to be mostly the draft, which I did focus scout tight ends. We're going to try to find a tight end. We need a new guard. The rest of the offense is pretty good. Defense, Mason Graham, he is normal dev, even though that's just his profile picture. Let's give it him star. I mean, we're going to need a linebacker. Willie Gay's going to hit the open market. Richie Grant goes up to superstar, so that is a positive. I lost the X factor on my corner that I drafted. And he won Defensive Rookie of the... I probably should go in and manually change that. But the challenge of a realistic rebuild is we have dev traits lowered, everything like that to improve the challenge. I guess we just got to roll. What? Come on. Defensive Rookie of the Year. Oh yeah, and we're gonna take away his. So my OC and DC both got poached, and looking at the available offense coordinators, we do not have our quarterback guru, so we are going to be losing. Losing a lot on Justin Fields' development. He's going to be losing +3 throw power, medium, short, long accuracy. And I mean, obviously, I'm not going to change my scheme at this point, so I guess we'll poach this Shanahan guy. But we do have pocket passing on the one that we just signed here from the 49ers, so we are going to be able to get at least +3 of that short accuracy back and +3 of the medium accuracy back. We're just going to lose out on the deep and throw power, which is obviously maybe the most important spots, but could be worse. Only $12 million of available money, even though there are upgrades, like right now. We need a linebacker. Willie Gay, of course, is the best available. So there's not much there in terms of upgrades at the linebacker spot, so we're fine. Need a guard. Not much there at guard as well. So, I mean, yeah, we're going to need to have a strong draft. Even at tight end, we got Michael Mayer there. I'd like to think I can get someone that's an equal type prospect in the first round. So going to the draft, I have 3 players, 4 probably I'd say that I feel comfortable drafting. What I will say is I have tight end scouted, and we got 1 first round. It was a value pick there in Rylan Benedict. He's a first round true talent. I would not have guessed that, though. I would have guessed Jeremiah White would be the other one. He's first, second rounder, look at the letter grades. Double B, double A, but Benedict might be the best, but that is someone that we might have to look at trading at. We need a guard, and there is a stud at guard. Cesar Sanchez, 4 A's, and he has 45 reps. That is the highest bench press I've definitely seen online. We just saw last year an 83 superstar offensive guard. I think there's a shot that Sanchez could also fill that type of player, and that's who I want. I got to look at the most recent mock draft. I think in a perfect world, I get Sanchez in the first. Where are we picking? We're right down there at 30. Where's he going? Don't say I have to trade up for him. He's not even going in the first round. So I want to get Sanchez in the first, and then that first round at tight end in the second. I don't know if we have to be aggressive and trade up for that tight end, but we will do our best to make it happen. Because obviously we're picking late in the second round. And those are really the only 2 players I want. I'll sabotage the rest of the draft to get that guard and tight end. So I'll probably trade up early. I mean, what a player. Hidden Dev, please. Please, Hidden Dev. Let's go. 98 strength. All right, we're able to make a trade here. Pick 10 in the second round. Had to give up a second, third, future fourth, and a 5th this year. Don't care. I just... You give me a first-round prospect at tight end. He's going to be at worst like 75 normal. At best, he rolls with a dev. So, I mean, we have a shot at both of them. We probably could have waited. But we're going to go with this guy. A catching traffic. Elite strength. Ooh. But usually it's run block. You need a run block, elite strength to get that X Factor roll. That was previous Maddens. But there we go. Hidden Dev, love it. Day 1 started for us. All right, take a look at our draft recap. Hopefully we did well. Couple 75 plusers and Cesar Sanchez, not 83, but and that's, you know, how much better was the 83 guy? This guy was 4 A's and 45 reps on the bench press. Either way, 78 hidden dev, 76 hidden dev at 2 positions that we need. I do want to just very quickly go look at those the other tight ends. Maybe more so just the other top guy right here. Jeremiah White, 74 hidden dev. What's the dev trait? Please be star. Anything better than a star is going to make me feel like I missed out. All right. We're all right. Happy with our draft. Midway point of year 4, 5-1. I mean, firmly and comfortably sitting atop the NFC South, like we have been throughout this rebuild. I am concerned, though, that our passing yards from year 1 and year 2, still with the Atlanta Falcons playbook, not a gigantic drop-off in talent, has fallen off a goddamn cliff. Don't know why. But we're going to battle. We're going to endure it. We got Dr. Disrespect stream right there. Hopefully I don't get copyrighted or anything like that. Let's figure this out. So Bijan got to get paid first. Right? Just get this one out of the books, out of the way. We got 28. Richie Grant. I mean, superstar, not slowing any signs slowing down there. Now we got Legit, who's been a good role player for us. Good third option. We'll get him locked in. 15. It's just been we haven't had the money to be aggressive in free agency. I don't know if that's been a difference maker or not. We'll get Grady Jarrett, the veteran, on a 1 year and gamble that we'll get a little bit of salary cap before the offseason starts. But, you know, it's been a bummer. We'll pick up the 5th-year option of Mason Graham as well. Keep that D-line rotation there.
But we just, yeah, I get it's what happens when you have so much talent on your roster. You know, you want to keep that talent. You prioritize keeping that talent. Limits how much you can hit the open market with. But I don't know. Maybe that's been like you're trying to figure out why haven't we had the postseason success to get over that hump of the NFC Championship games. Like, is it because we haven't had any like big free agent game changers that we brought there? I don't know. But it could be something there. We finished year 4. Passing offense picked it up a little bit, but the rest of these numbers all elite. 95 overall offense. I do need to humble brag yet again. So last year we drafted an X Factor corner, lost his dev trait, ate that one on the chin, even though it was incredibly unjust. This year, superstar guard, the tight end's an X Factor. I thought when I saw the elite strength there was a chance, but his run blocking was dog shit. And in previous Maddens, you get that elite strength, you get that A run blocking, you feel pretty good. But that is back-to-back drafts with X Factors. We're absolutely crushing it. For as much as I literally just said is the missing formula, the fact that we haven't signed in free agency, we have drafted as good as I have ever drafted. We need everything that is good and wholesome about franchise mode to reward me for drafting well and not just trying to solve my problems by paying the most expensive price that I can on the open market. I mean, this team is outstanding. That guy should be an X Factor. We also humbled the game for being terrible and not just giving him back his X Factor. So reward me for going through the ebbs and flows that this franchise mode, broken or not, will give us and give me a goddamn Super Bowl run here in year 4. Looking at our stats as we get to kick our feet up in the first round by Justin Fields. Hey, there we go. Yards, maybe not the best, might not have 2,000 receivers, but I would absolutely will take 37 passing touchdowns to 7 picks here for Justin Fields, who, regardless, he's at an 89 superstar, but with the boost up to a 95, so he's playing outstanding. Bijan continues to be great. Touchdowns down a little bit, but that's fine, as long as he's still getting his yards. No 1,000-yard receiver. Wow. Okay. Hopefully Kyle Pitts still keeps his X Factor. Kevin Knowles, leading tackler, and Landman up there as well. Sacks 10.5 for Mason Graham. 16 T. A little bit of a breakout there. Grady Jarrett was solid. Latu, that's kind of been what he's been. Ebiketti's more of a role player at this point. Interceptions, not great, especially the talent that we have in that secondary. MVP goes to Josh Allen. We get Justin Fields making the short list again at number 8. Looking outright for some Falcons here real quick. I don't care if we're runner-up or anything. I want to see winners. And winners is what we don't have. So no individual success, but the team success is outstanding. Only losing twice. Kicking our feet up, awaiting our opponent in the divisional round. Looking to make it 3 NFC Championship games in 4 years. But how about this time we actually, win one? Let's get a divisional matchup. They're not particularly good. It's not, I usually like to preface this by saying, oh, look, here we go. We get to find out the best team in the South. We're clearly the best team. But they got Breece Hall, who crushed it for them. Top 10 offense, top 10. I mean, hey, put some respect on Carolina here. Top 10s on both sides of the football. Could be tough. Got the Bears here. Good revenge game for Justin Fields. But look at that Bijan Robinson. He's so freaking good. Like, we usually talk about the OP sim, Josh Jacobs. It's great for this tidbit I want to interject here. Josh Jacobs, Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry. I think Bijan's probably right there in that top 3 always eat in Madden 24 franchise. And it probably should be, because Bijan, even though Arthur Smith, for some reason, didn't want to see it, Bijan is ridiculous. And I'm glad he is killing it. But we need him to kill it even more to back up his quarterback. The team that decided that he was not good enough. We have the Bears, who don't look good. 28th offense, 15th defense. Base roster, pretty solid. Let's actually get a look here, just because it is Chicago. For the sake of we have Justin Fields, they moved on. We know they drafted Drake May, I think it was, who's killing it. 97 superstar. They got Donovan Edwards. Okay, so they got a lot of starters from that draft. DJ Moore. Whoa. Okay. Luther Burden is incredible. He is going, if you don't know a lot about college football, you need to know a little bit about the draft this year. Marvin Harrison Jr., Luther Burden is going to be that guy next year. Incredible talent, kind of like Debo. Cole Kmet's 90, offensive line 84, 79, 72, 86, 81. So not a bad O-line. Montez Sweat, 89, Leonard Williams. Milton Williams, who's up to a superstar. They got Dallas Turner. So that must have been their first round. They would have went Drake May and Dallas Turner with their 2 first-round picks. He's an 89. They got Edmonds, Willie Gay, Jalen Johnson, 96 X Factor, Barron, Fulton, Byard, Sonny Styles, 90 X. We actually just used him
In our Raiders rebuild, which we won a Super Bowl, Sonny Styles, I think he ended up like 95, 96 X Factor. When all is said and done, 6'5", 230 safety. I mean, that's a good Bears team. They've done well post Justin Fields. But is it good enough to take down? I just think we're the best team. This is our year. This is a perfect window. Look at that handle business. It was close. 27-21. You look at both team stats, you're going to assume, holy shit, Milton Williams, 5 sacks in that game. Justin Fields found a way to endure relentless pressure for over 320 yards, 2 touchdowns, 5 sacks. So that is the most I've seen simmed against me in a rebuild in quite some time. And look at that. The team we just recently rebuilt meeting us, and they're 1 game above 500. They have the 18th offense, I mean, I don't even think I need to cash in my 3 times, but I sure as shit will to ensure we get that Super Bowl check mark here for the Atlanta Falcons in our Madden 24 realistic rebuild. Let's go get it. Let's go, baby. I'll even play on my input. I'm playing off of my recording software where there's like a half-second delay. That's how confident I am that if I have to, I don't even need to hop in at any point. But if I do, it's going to be tough. But we get the first touchdown of the game. Vegas not really going away, making it a little bit challenging. I probably should have came in on that 3rd down. Now I'm a little bit worried that our team is. There we go. Instant touchdown. Cut it within 3. 3rd and 10. Here we go. We'll cash in one of our times here. 3rd and 10. Get something. Kyle Pitts in the slot, thriving as a slot wide receiver. We got to watch Max Crosby at the top. That's where we got Mekhi Becton. That's why we brought him in. We're going to go play action. We're going to go Kyle Pitts. Gets smashed by Crosby in coverage. That is a matchup you'll always take. But we get the first down. We get the touchdown, which you love to see. Defense holds them to a field goal. We have a 1-point lead. Let's put this one away. 3rd and 10. Come on. We didn't get any. Why didn't we get any points there? We win by 1. What was that ending? We had like 2 trips into the red zone. No points. They had 2 chances to get into field goal range. No points. It's ugly. But our super team that we've essentially built the best way possible via drafting and developing here in Atlanta has yielded a Super Bowl. Get a little check mark right there in the old notepad. Let's go, man. We've drafted 2 X Factors, drafted a superstar, Kyle Pitts, moving a wide receiver. That's a gamble, right? Because he went from an 86, 87 X Factor tight end to like a 79 wide receiver. We gambled that was the right call, and it panned out. Right? Drake London kind of been a passenger, but I mean, Bijan's been incredible. O-line's got the job done. Defense has been solid. The ranks have been great. Sacks and interception numbers, not crazy. But generally, as a unit, they've been top 5. And there you go. That is a moment. I guess at this point, they have CJ Stroud. What? How did that happen? I got to go look at that, actually. I did not see CJ Stroud on the open market. So did he get traded? I'm going to have to go look at his history. Remind me to do that after this. But hey, Super Bowl victory, year 4, playing with house money in year 5. Can't ask for much more than that. Super Bowl MVP, with the stats, probably giving that to Bijan Robinson. So he must have been a free agent. 1, 2, 3, 4. Didn't pick up the 5th-year option. So then he went in free agency, and they signed him to a 5-year, 121, which is a steal. What? None of that makes sense. Because how come I had to pay fucking Justin Fields more than CJ Stroud on the open market? What is the Texans doing at quarterback? So they got Tua. So they signed Tua the year before. Classic franchise mode. Classic Madden franchise mode. So as we look to defend our Super Bowl champion, the big needs. I mean, I'm not too worried about having 3 linebackers. You probably just run with 2, and Knowles went up depth chart. We need a D tackle, so we're gonna sell out. Hopefully in free agency we can find one. If not, all hands on deck first round for the best D tackle we can get. But offensively, defensively, this team is primed to run it back. Ooh, we can take a swing here. There's no chance he's picking us. You want to go to New England? You want to go? You don't want to come to the Super Bowl champs? Okay. John Franklin Myers still okay. I would say that was the only way I was going to pivot. I mean, he could definitely kick inside a D tackle. All right, we need to find a D tackle in the first round that's capable of starting on the defending Super Bowl champions. All right, so for our final draft class, this is important. Usually year 5 is just kind of like, I'm going to see if I can get a nice pick to kind of brag that I can draft good players. But this one here, we actually need to find a starter. And I've done my due diligence. We have Jerry Reeves. Great name. That's how you spell Jerry. But he would obviously kick inside D tackle, A tackle, B power, B block shed. Not a bad combine, but not exactly what we're looking for. At the defensive tackle spot specifically, not a strength of the class. We have Derek Rivers here, A double B with a C, pretty well rounded, athletically speaking. Also, really ticks a lot of boxes. However, a tried, tested, and true method is available. John Barron, 6'4", 384. Usually, nose tackles, you know what they get. But I usually don't see nose tackles with that kind of letter grades. They have B, maybe a B in tackle. You get some C's and you're gambling, but look at this, 40. This is the guy. He's my first round pick. I'm not even gonna look elsewhere, unless I need to look elsewhere. I don't think. There's just a shot someone overdrafts him in the second round before we pick, right at the ass end of the round, and we don't need a single starter anywhere else. So we're not gonna overthink it. Give me this monster. Give me a dev trait. Let's go. Of course not. 99 strength. All right, take a look at the draft. Hopefully, with no dev, I'd love to get like a 76, 77, 75, just on the outskirts there. John Barron, nose tackle. We got Justin Terry, a 70 running back in the second round. I'm not going to lie, just auto-picked. So shout out to the Sim for hooking me up with a hidden dev running back and a decent depth slot wide receiver. All right, here we go. Your defending Super Bowl champion squad ready to rock and roll. The offense, exactly as you remember from last year. 2 seconds ago in this video. We added a new D tackle in the first round. Everyone else ready to run it back. At minimum, I think we're divisional champs and going to 4 out of 5 years the NFC championship. Pulling a little bit of early thousands Philadelphia Eagles with Andy Reid. And then year 5, another NFC South. Have we got it all 5 years? I think maybe we're 4 to 5. I got a bad brain, but we've almost exclusively, as you see, I didn't even auto upgrade my players that whole season. Okay, they weren't even as strong as they could be, and we still go 13-4. Take a look at our regular season stats, and then we will look at the rebuild total stats. 100 yards, 32 touchdowns, 3 picks, fields. Outstanding from the rushing attack led by Bijan Robinson. Kyle Pitts back up over 1,000 yards with 11 touchdowns. Our X Factor tight end becoming a factor. I mean, Drake London, if you had to say something negative, Drake London, a little disappointing in this rebuild, but kind of second fiddle as far as receiving is concerned. Nate Ladman led the team in tackles, 13 sacks from Latu, 9 from Tell, whoever the hell that is. 4 from Dixon in terms of picks. Love seeing that. Yearly awards. Oh, come on. Always a bridesmaid, never a bride for Justin Fields. This MVP race, he's been up there quite a bit, but never enough to outright win it. Bijan Robinson, I think that's his second or third running back of the year. Chris Lindstrom gets his lineman of the year. I love seeing the Canadian Sidney Brown right there. But let's take a look at the career stats for this rebuild before we embark on our final playoff journey. Justin Fields ends this rebuild for his career between the Bears and Falcons. 25,000 yards passing, 202 tutties, to 71 picks, to go along with 4,300 yards and 34 rushing touchdowns. He was awesome. Bijan Robinson was awesome. Through 6 seasons, 9,500 yards, 66 touchdowns. Yep, if he played out his whole career, probably be pushing some of Emmitt Smith's records there. Kyle Pitts, the move to wide receiver was the call. If you ever do a Falcons rebuild, don't be afraid to do it. It works out. 7,600 yards, 54 touchdowns. Drake London with 6,000 yards receiving, 39 tuds. Lejette was pretty much a role player that whole rebuild. Defensively, Jesse Bates, 26 picks, 800 tackles. Obviously splitting time between us and the Bengals. We got 42.5 sacks, 94 TFLs from Latu. Outstanding production, especially on the TFL front. Ebiketie, I never think pass rush didn't get as much of a kick in the ass as I thought it would be switching to the Bengals playbook, but also wasn't brutal. 17 picks for Darrell, 11 for Akuda, 8 for Dixon. Not bad. Landman, leading tackler for a lot of this rebuild, almost 800 tackles for him. But it is now time. Put up or shut up. Algie Crumpler. Go on a run, baby. You got a Super Bowl last year. Get one this year. We got the Eagles. Hopefully Brian Dawkins not on the sideline. That Crumpler-Dawkins hit, one of the most all-time iconic hits. All right. Thanks for watching the replay. Oh, God damn it, man. 1 point loss to the Eagles in the Battle of the Birds. Philly got 11. They got all their points in the second half. Jalen Hurts put on a show. Justin Fields was more of a passenger. Not going to win a whole lot of playoff games with 155 yards passing. Bijan carried the load. Devontae. They have Roma Dunze for the Eagles. No more. And they got A.J. Brown. That is filthy wide receiver room. A.J. Brown's probably, 90-something? 390-plus wide receivers. Defensively, no sacks. I gotta go look at that real quick. Just the Eagles fan in me. Let me go take a quick little peek at that freaking wide receiver room. A.J. Brown, Devontae, Rome Odunze, who from Bengals class, gotta be up there, right? Definitely a starting point of 75. I don't want to say superstar, but probably 75 start plus. Hurts 99 X Factor. They got Swift, A.J. Brown 97 superstar, 94 superstar for Devontae, 88 for Odunze. They don't have Goddard, but they got Holden Stays, so that's who they moved on from. Hey, it's a good team. We didn't lose to a cupcake bad squad, and it wasn't like Dallas or someone annoying. That you always lose to, and luckily enough, we did get our Super Bowl in year 4, the check mark. So that is going to do it for today's rebuild. Thank you guys very much for watching. As always, your first time stopping by, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Smash the like button if you enjoyed. Let me know in the comment section down below what team you want to see next. In terms of myself, where I'm leaning, right? Where I'm thinking could be an interesting rebuild. Tennessee just moved on from Mike Vrabel. Commanders, right? That's a team kind of in limbo. If the Eagles lose to the Bucks and they're 1-and-done in the playoffs, I'm probably going to do an Eagles rebuild just to try to keep some sense of sanity. I think really any other team in the South would be fun. Panthers, Saints, Bucks, Vikings. A lot of options. So let me know in the comment section below which realistic rebuild you guys want to see next. And until next time, it's your boy C4 saying peace out, love ya, have a good one.